Welcome everyone. Hello. Welcome to the Gies Online iDegree workshop, Networking within Gies Business. Before I get started, I want to give everyone just a couple extra minutes here to log in and join the webinar. I am curious where everyone's from today. So I'm going to launch this poll. If you are here, tell us where you're coming from. Are you joining from overseas? Are you a domestic attendee? I'm here in Champaign-Urbana, along with my colleague, Allison Hodina is here. She's up near the Chicagoland area. And then I'm going to introduce our other panelist guest today, Eduardo. He's coming to us from Colombia. So we have quite the geographical areas covered today, quite a few covered today. So as people slowly join, it looks like, let's see, so far we have most people from the United States today. So sometimes it happens like that, and sometimes we have a very wide range of countries represented. We have someone from Mexico, the Caribbean, and Latin America as well. So excellent. Thanks for sharing that information. I'm going to end that poll. But let's get started. My name is Kate Deering. A little bit about myself. I am a coordinator within Gies Online Programs. I have been here for a little bit, about 2.5 years or so. This is a great program to be a part of, and I'm very excited to share some information about our innovative online programs today. We are going to touch on program information, of course, but we are really going to dive further into networking and what is one of the great side effects of being part of our online programs, whether you're in the iMBA, iMSM, iMSA, or the graduate certificate program. I'm excited to have Allison Hodina here. She is my colleague. She is a coordinator within Gies Online Programs as well. She is going to be working in the Q&A and answering all of your great questions today. And then we also have one of our current student ambassadors present today, Eduardo Roca, and I'm going to let him introduce himself here in a minute, but we're very excited to have him here to be able to share his perspective and his experience in the program. Right now, I want you to just take a look at your first slide, and hopefully you see that QR code in the corner. This is really, if you open your camera and you scan this code, it will upload a form for you to fill out. Just if you would like us to reach out to you with any, one of our admission counselors or myself or Allison will reach out to you just to answer any questions that you have. We can talk about your goals and maybe help you try to figure out which program is right for you. So if you'd like us to contact you, I will go ahead and put that up at the end of our presentation as well today. And then lastly, please direct your questions to the Q&A. That's the easy place for us to answer all of those questions. Allison will be there. She is a pro at quickly answering all of your questions. And then we'll also have time at the end of the presentation to answer any of those questions live. So here's our agenda today. We are going to dive into networking, and then we're also going to talk to Eduardo throughout the presentation today to hear about the student experience. We're going to go through the program overview. We're definitely talking about networking. We'll hear about that student experience, and then we'll have time at the end for that Q&A. Eduardo, would you mind introducing yourself to everyone before we start, and maybe tell us which program you're in and why you chose Gies Online for your master's?
Yeah, absolutely, Kate, and hello everyone. It's a pleasure to be here in this panel. I'm about to finish the program now, so I've been doing it for about 2 years. Now I'm in the iMBA program, and it was, I would say, looking for or choosing the best program. It's not an easy task. I think there are many options out there, and I did spend a couple of months, I would say, researching and trying to find the best one. So what really I was looking for was a reputable school that had high quality education. I was definitely looking for that. But on the other hand, on the personal side, I wanted something that was flexible and that I also could afford. Right. So putting all that together, I obviously got to a couple of options. Gies was definitely one of the top options that I had. And then I started reading, comments and testimonials from students or alumni sharing their experience with the program. And I was very convinced, especially on the networking, which was one of the concerns that I have. And I think we're going to talk about this today. I had the concern about networking capabilities from the program and how to do that online. So we're going to talk about this more. But I came to realize after being in the program that there are so many opportunities, and I'll share a bit more today on how we can network. So putting all that together, I had no doubts, to go for Gies College of Business, and I absolutely have no no doubts that I made the right choice.
Thanks, Eduardo. And as we move through the presentation today, if you have specific questions for Eduardo, he has access to the Q&A. So don't be shy. Please ask away. This is your chance to ask any of those questions that you've been thinking about. Just add those to the Q&A. So as we move into our agenda, I'm curious, which Gies credential are you interested in? Just to give me an idea of, as I move through the program overview, are you interested in just taking a Coursera MOOC? Are you just wanting to take one course just to earn a little bit of education in a specific area? We have graduate certificates, any of the iDegree programs, or none at this time, and just gathering information. So fill out that poll so that we can see where everyone's coming from. Give maybe 30 more seconds. Okay, I am sharing the results with you. It looks like the iMBA program is in the lead here. A couple interested in a grad certificate, as well as the iMSM and iMSA. So excellent. We are going to definitely go through all of that information today. But first, I am going to share just an overview of the 3 master's programs that we offer at Gies Business, along with the newly launched graduate certificates, before we get into all of the networking aspects of the program. So our first master's degree is the Master of Business Administration, which Eduardo is in this program. This program comes in at just over $23K in US dollars. Each credit hour costs $320, which is going to make one 4 credit hour course around $1280 for that 4 credit hour course. We do have a pay-as-you-go model, so you only pay for the course that you are registered in throughout the program. This program takes 24 to 36 months and does have so much flexibility in that you decide what your pace is in this program. You can take one course each 8-week term and be on that 3-year timeline, or speed it up and take 2 courses every 8 weeks and be on that 2-year timeline. That's totally up to you based on what you have going in your life with your family and your extracurricular activities. We also understand that everyone's lives are super busy and things come up. And if you have a large project or a family health issue or something like that, you would just work with your advisor to actually take a whole 8-week term off. We have 4 start dates for the iMBA program, August, October, January, and March. And that the iMBA is made up of 72 credit hours, which is going to total 18 courses. The way that we break these courses down is that you'll complete 6 specializations. Now, this can be a little confusing when you just look at it. I promise you will understand this once you get into the program. And we have many people to help you understand how it all works. But 4 of those specializations will be your core specializations, which is going to total 12 courses. This is going to be your required core essential courses. And then you'll have 2 elective specializations that is going to be an additional 6 courses. Each specialization is made up of 3 courses that work together to give you expertise in that topic. We do have 5 focus areas to choose from, and these are really nice in that you are going to choose 2 of those. So you have a lot of choices, but you really are able to cater your MBA to your interests and your career and choose from some really amazing options like global challenges in business or digital marketing. And then we also have a new elective path that we just created not too long ago. If there are courses from different focus areas that you would like to combine and make your own path. And then lastly, in addition to the 6 specializations, you will complete 3 capstone projects. 2 of those will be after you complete a specialization, bringing everything together that you've learned on that topic. And then before you graduate, you'll have a month-long program capstone project where you will work with a group and a professor to finish off your degree with that larger project. So this slide is just some great recent facts that we gathered from some of our graduates that have just graduated recently. And we talk a lot about the professional experience that our students bring to the classroom. And one measure of the quality of this network is the number of Fortune 100 companies where our students work. We recently collected some of this data, as I said, from our iMBA students specifically, and 70 out of the Fortune 100 companies are represented in the iMBA. And more than 1,000 total employers are represented through all 3 programs. And I want you to get ready for some great other statistics here in the rest of this chart. Many business schools measure job placement after graduation. At Gies, where virtually all of our iMBA students already have jobs, 61% of them receive a promotion or accept a new job while they're in the iMBA program. Also, at a time when professionals have come to expect that 2% raise in a good year, Gies iMBA graduates tell us that they've received an average raise of 22% during and immediately after their iMBA program. So this is really an instant and concrete return on investment that is going to be hard to match. Lastly, some feedback we collected from recent grads speaks to the quality and the return on investment of the program. 96% rated the education as excellent or good, 91% recommend the iMBA to a friend, and most importantly, 95% have applied what they've learned to their career. So that's a lot of numbers there. Eduardo, can you just kind of put that all in a little package and tell us how your journey at Gies has affected your career path and your learning, just to kind of simplify this slide?
Yeah, so one thing that I really like about these numbers are, first of all, I think the practical part of it. So the last one, which is apply what they learn to career. I think that was absolutely what I felt. There was an immediate impact as I started the program. Of course, you go through concepts and theory, but it's very practical, the learning. So as soon as I started, I felt like I could improve the way I was at work. And after less than a year, I actually got a promotion. And I didn't introduce myself properly, but I'm Brazilian. I have 16 years of work experience, and just like Kate mentioned, I'm currently working in Colombia. And right now I'm literally expecting the next transfer, which would be like actually a second promotion within the 2 years period that I'm in the program. And again, I have no doubts that the practical learnings that I had were fundamental for me to gain this visibility at work and to be able to deliver greater results at work. So this doesn't surprise me, the numbers that we're seeing here. Yeah.
Thanks, Eduardo. Let's jump to the Masters of Science in Management. Quick facts on this slide. The MSM is made up of several different learner types. We have non-business backgrounds looking to develop leadership and a leadership and management base. We have business backgrounds that are pivoting to include management in their skill set. And then we also have a group of highly technical backgrounds that are looking to broaden their business knowledge. The iMSM comes in at right around 11K, and you can finish it in just 1 year. This degree does have the same flexibility as all of our master's degree programs in taking 1 or 2 courses each 8-week term, which is totally paced by you, depending on your work and your life schedule. The iMSM also has 4 start dates, so you can start in August, October, January, and March, just like the iMBA program. This degree is 36 credit hours or 9 courses, and that breaks down to 6 of those will be your core required courses, and then you'll have 3 electives to choose in either a predetermined track, or you can choose any 3 electives that we offer. And then one last thing I did want to share today, the university has just approved that the iMSM will now be able to be stacked into the iMBA program. So we are very excited about this. We will have many more details this fall, but we did want to let you all know that that's an exciting new change. And then our third master's degree is the Master of Science in Accountancy. This program is going to build expertise in the fundamentals of accounting, financial reporting, audit and control, and U.S. federal taxation. So, you know, whether you're a mid-level professional looking to move into that C-suite position, or you're just brand new to the accounting field, you are going to be well positioned to advance your career and also increase your earnings potential with the iMSA program. The tuition for the iMSA comes in at 20 to 28K, and you might be wondering why this is a range. Some of your course choices that will determine what your final tuition will be. So we have in some of your elective choices, if you choose a non-accounting class versus an accounting class, those have different rates. And so that's why there is a tuition range there. Students will complete the iMSA in 18 to 36 months, depending on your course load, just like the other 2 master programs. And we only have 2 start dates for the iMSA program. So you can start in January, or you can start in this upcoming August. The iMSA includes 32 credit hours, which is going to be 8 courses total. 5 of those are required, and then you are going to have some electives to choose from, where you can choose a predetermined data analytics track, or you can choose any 3 electives, as long as one of those is a non-accounting elective. So that's just an overview of the 3 online master's degrees that you can earn within Gies Online. We also do have some other stackable credentials that we are going to talk about briefly in this next slide. But I do want to just cover a little bit of the overall Gies Business Online model so that you can understand how we have intentionally designed these programs and structured our courses. It's made up of 3 main qualities. First of all is the flexibility, meaning that there's no travel requirements. All of our programs are completely online, including all course and group work. It's paced to fit your needs, as we've talked about in those 8-week terms. And we also have stackable credentials. So there's some flexibility in your learning in that we have many, many options for you. You can take any of the courses that we offer as a non-degree student and just take that one course to learn a specific skill. We also just launched 2 campus recognized graduate certificates in strategic management and leadership, and also an accounting data analytics track. These include 3 courses, which then can be stacked into any of our master's degree programs. So there's a lot of options when it comes to Gies Business and expanding your education. The second point is that it's affordable. There is minimal to no added expenses above the tuition. We do have a pay-as-you-go tuition model where every term that you register for one course, you're just paying for that one course. And then you'll pay that way throughout the program. So there's no lump sum payment. It's very easy to work with. And then lastly, Gies Business is online by design, and that means that this program and any of our programs were not adapted to be in this format. They were designed to be delivered to thousands of learners worldwide. We created this highly engaging content that you can access anywhere, anytime, without giving up any of your career or family commitments. So, excuse me. There are two major components to the Gies courses, the foundational material and the high engagement component. So I did want to touch on these briefly, just to give you that overview before we get into the networking. But every Illinois course has a Coursera component. These are called Massive Online Open Courses, or MOOCs. They are made up of pre-recorded videos that are created by our Illinois professors. You'll have some quizzes, some reading assignments, and some peer evaluations as well. These are done asynchronously on your own time. These MOOCs can stand as their own as a digital certificate, or you're able to stack two MOOCs into an Illinois 4-credit course. Each of our Illinois courses that we offer has two MOOCs built into the course syllabus. So you can think about the MOOCs a little bit as your foundational material, or maybe like your virtual textbook in the Illinois course. When you earn that MOOC certificate after completing a Coursera course, you will then be able to use that progress in your Illinois 4-credit course. So once you're admitted into your graduate level course, your Coursera progress will be migrated over, and you won't have to repeat that MOOC. The other component of our courses is the high engagement component. So all of our Illinois courses will build upon that MOOC foundational material that we just talked about. And then you're going to have this high engagement component. Oops, sorry about that. The high engagement component is going to include one 90-minute live class on Zoom each week, where your professor will give their lecture. You'll have a small group, you may have small group breakout sessions in these live classes. They are offered at several different times during the day to accommodate all of our global time zones in the program. Your faculty is available for office hours, where you can discuss current assignments and also have discussions with your professors and your TA. I highly recommend attending those when you can. And then don't forget, you'll have all of your students that are in your classes as great resources as well. All right, so let's get to the meat of the program, networking. I have you asked yourself, how am I going to connect in a virtual environment? How is that possible? There's two main ways. There's the Gies-led opportunities, and there's also student-led opportunities. Eduardo, before I dive in, can you just give a brief overview of the best ways that you've networked within the program?
Okay, the best one. That's a good question. I think there are several ways to to network, and we're going to dive into more details on Gies-led and student-led opportunities. But I want to make a quick comment before we dive into the details, which is important. And I realized that in the very beginning, actually somebody who shared that with me, which is, in an online environment, you also need to make an extra effort as compared to the in-person environment. So you need to, it's not going to happen organically that you go into a classroom and then you just start talking to people, and after class you go and have a coffee, for example. Now, if you make that small little effort to try to engage and participate in discussions and use the many different channels to network, then the networking possibilities are infinite, because you have people from all over the world, you have people from various different backgrounds, and it's not just somebody who is sitting on your side that you can talk to. You have major channels to network. One that I really like is called Workplace, and maybe we're going to talk about this later on, but just a bit of a spoiler here. Workplace it's actually owned by Meta, Facebook, but it's a platform used by corporations, and in this case for online education as well, where we can interact with other students, with faculty, and so on. And it's so powerful. The community is so strong. We help each other so much, and I think that's the one I use the most as a starting point. I get to know a lot of people there that it turns out to be, you know, a closer friendship later on by having one-on-one connections, even meeting people in person, and it's so on. So Workplace is the one that I really enjoyed. I think it's super powerful, and it's amazing how the community is there to help each other, and that makes the networking so strong.
That's a great segue, and we are going to talk about Workplace for sure, Eduardo. So there's three main Gies-led opportunities that you will be offered networking opportunities. Those are iConnects, Immersions, and iConverge. I know, Eduardo, which one of these have you participated in? All three, or I know one for sure?
Yeah, I did iConnect, iConverge. The immersion, I didn't do it.
Okay.
Because I was really looking forward to do the in-person immersion, but then because of the pandemic, we were doing that virtual, and we just went back to do it in person, right? So that as I'm finishing it, I missed the chance because of pandemic to do the in-person immersion, which I heard great things about. And the one just before I joined was actually in Brazil. So everyone who talks to me is like, yeah, I was in the immersion in Brazil.
Yes, it was. Well, 2 out of 3 is not bad. So, so let's touch on the iConnects real quick. These are held across the United States in larger cities. They're designed to bring together Gies Online students in your area so that you can meet and mingle with experienced professionals in Gies programs, as well as in a close-knit area. Typically, these have some kind of professional development from a special speaker that we bring in to highlight. And then lastly, you will always meet part of our leadership team, maybe someone like myself from the recruitment team, or a faculty member at these events as well. This is just a couple pictures from some recent iConnects. Dean Brown was in Boston a couple months ago. This middle picture is our Executive Associate Dean, Brooke Elliott, in Austin, Texas. And then there's an iConnect. There was one in Dallas earlier this year in that top right-hand corner. The next opportunity that's Gies-led is our immersions. And these are an excellent opportunity to step outside your comfort zone and test what you have learned, as well as embed yourself into a real company where you'll be challenged with a non-traditional ecosystem with people from other cultures. These are domestic or international in nature. We've had these, as Eduardo said, in Brazil, Dallas, Colombia, Ghana. The last two, and within the last 2 years, they have been virtual. Unfortunately, but fortunately, from COVID, and I say fortunately, is that we had just really great success, even in this virtual environment. Excellent feedback. They were less expensive, but mimicked the in-person immersion experience. So they went over really well. You'll travel with a small group and a professor to solve that current problem or a challenge for a local business, and learn from multiple stakeholders across different companies. You also have plenty of time to network with your iDegree professionals that are in the immersion with you. Sometimes these are, you know, an immersion will be a case study competition that's hosted by a company with local iMBA students. They're varying topics that we include in these immersions. There is an extra cost associated with these opportunities, and your flight is going to be in addition to the program costs. So an example of one of these is coming up in August in Seattle. That cost, I believe, is around $1,800, and as I said, the travel would be on your own for that opportunity. This is a couple, I just tried to add a couple pictures here for you to see. Here's one. This one was in person back in March 2021. This was just a postcard from the Columbia virtual immersion that had a case competition, some relationship building, a couple learning sessions. If you look up at the top one, this was the virtual immersion in Brazil. And then I did include this. This was from Ghana. This was the tentative schedule. That this particular immersion was virtual and it lasted over a couple weeks, but they had different sessions like a case project intro, doing business in Ghana was a segment. They had a company Q&A, and then they had a virtual field trip. So many different segments to that immersion, that virtual immersion. And then lastly, one other excellent opportunity is iConverge. iConverge is just a great time for all of us to come together and meet for some professional development, some fun, and also some networking. It's our yearly kickoff event for online students. We invite everybody as well as the alumni, and it's not required though. Gies Online is still 100% online and you don't have to come, but I highly recommend trying to if you can. There will be live lectures from some of our faculty, and we even bring in sometimes some extra special speakers. It's a great chance to meet your colleagues at the arrival reception. We'll have a huge dinner the first night so that you can meet some new people. And it's really fun for us to see everyone connect in person after being in maybe a small group together for one of their classes or in a live class together. So it's really fun to watch. We will also include some campus tours. You can also go to a famous Big Ten tailgate and experience a football game. And then lastly, our faculty and leadership team is always present, and we love mingling and meeting all of you. So this is just the highlight of our year. And one last thing, you will walk away with some fabulous swag, which I know most of our students are always super excited about. Would you concur with all of this, Eduardo?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think last year I did get a chance to go to from Colombia. I flew all the way to the US just to join iConverge. This was September last year, and it was so amazing to get to meet all the students, professors, faculty that you always see online. It's such a great experience to be there, right? First of all, meeting people. I think it's in person. It's so nice. So if you get an opportunity to eventually join these events, go for it. And that's when you're able to even strengthen the networking that you have created virtually. It's a whole different experience, right? So the whole event is very well organized. It's usually 2-3 days of events. Some events are led by Gies as well, and the students will just come up with the many side events just for having fun and networking and talking and having a good time together. So it's a must do if you have a chance to. Of course, it's not mandatory, but if you have the chance to, I would highly recommend. I'm already registered for this year's iConverge, and I hope I can make it.
Excellent. I saw a question. It's September 8th through 10th this year, for those of you that were wondering. Also, I love that you mentioned all of the student-led kind of sidebar activities that happen as well. There's lots of different excursions. So. Oh, my computer is stuck here. Sorry about that. So now I wanted to move into the student-led opportunities. So those were kind of directed by us, and now there are many networking opportunities that are student-led, and those are Workplace that Eduardo definitely touched on that earlier. We have student-led meetups, and then we also have just your group work that you'll have within your courses. Workplace, so upon admission, you will be given access to Workplace, which is Facebook or Meta driven, and it's just for our online students. It's for the students only to share feedback and express ideas without the faculty or administrative, academic staff getting involved. We do have access and often post updates and things, but this is really for the students and their communication. Students share helpful tips on classes. They might share some information on degree planning, notes, peer review questions, job searches that they have, or maybe they're asking for some career advice. And a lot of times students are just posting and having fun. There's a lot of just social fun posts as well. This is a key networking tool that is up to you though, as far as how much you will use it. Some people use it a lot more than others. And it's just up to you. It is an excellent resource. I did want to highlight a couple just to give you an idea of what happens on Workplace. There's often a lot of graduation posts, so this is fun. This is Rory, one of our ambassadors, meeting with Jill Ellis, who was our commencement speaker. Actually, here's this next one. Eduardo, you're in that picture. That was from graduation in the big hall as they walked into graduation. Down here, this was one post. Somebody was doing one of their live classes from Italy, so I thought that was kind of a fun post. Here's an example of this person is just wondering if someone works at this consulting firm so that they could reach out with a couple questions. Here's another one that this person had some openings in their organization. So those are just a couple examples of what you may see on Workplace. Another great option for networking are student-led meetups. These are often organized on that Workplace platform that we just talked about. Students will reach out to those that live within like a 50-mile radius maybe to meet up at a coffee shop or a local restaurant to come together and connect in person. They will socialize and share ideas on the program, or maybe you're searching for a new position and now you have some great resources that you didn't have before. So these happen quite often. I know Eduardo, you just did one, I guess it may have been like a couple months ago, right? And I think I have a picture of it. Can you tell us about that meetup that did you plan that one?
Yeah, it was, yeah, actually, I was the one planning this meetup. It's the one bottom right. And this is just an example of how, how many students we have around the world. And I started looking for students in Colombia. I'm currently in Bogota. Yeah, I mean, all of a sudden we have a group and we just scheduled something for the upcoming weekend to have a lunch together. And we had many other opportunities, go out to play soccer or lunch, dinner, and things like this. So again, as most of you are in the US from the initial poll that we got, absolutely, I have no doubts you will have a lot of opportunities to have these student-led meetups, which are a great opportunity to do an in-person networking with the ones that are around you. So this is spectacular, way of getting to know the ones that you started to network virtually. Yeah.
I liked this middle one. There was a Cubs Illini night the other night. So they do lots of fun things. And it's up to you. Like the students just make up whatever the opportunity is or excursion. So super fun. And then the last student-led opportunity would be just in your group work that you're going to experience every week in the program. You will have group work in every course and every 8-week term. And each professor is going to have varying amounts of projects in each class. And that's totally up to them. Sometimes you might have one 8-week-long project. Sometimes you might have two, like a 4-week and a 4-week. It's going to be different in every class. These groups will work outside of your live classes. So, and outside of your assignments, as well as your Coursera work. So you will meet with that group and come together with a plan for your project, and then get to know those students pretty well in your group and how they work in a group setting. then I've heard other students, some of our students talk about how they've had similar groups where there's people popping up in other groups that they have once they're in different courses. So you'll have these students as a resource throughout your time, people in the program.
Sorry, Kate, I think you, at least for me, you were breaking up a little bit. Were you asking me a question?
You will have a group preference form that you'll fill out before your course. Hear me okay?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Yeah, sorry. Alison, can you hear me? Well,
are we good now? Okay. I'm not sure where I was just. Can you all hear me now? Allison, can you give me a thumbs up?
okay, so
okay, cool.
I think
the last thing I wanted to mention. Go ahead, Eduardo.
No, I was just going to say, I think you were asking about, how groups are formed, that you can actually share in a form your availability, and this is, I think it's a great way that the program has come up with. So before you start the course, you'll have the opportunity to fill out a form where you provide your availability for every day of the week and what time you're likely to be available. And so automatically you will be assigned with other students who likely have the same availability as you have in terms of time, right? So that helps a lot because you may be asking, oh, how am I going to do a group work with people in different time zones, etc. And this will definitely help. And the nice thing as well is it also forces you to work with different people because it's a random assignment, at least for the team assignments that we have. And it's very good to be working with different people in different assignments, because that's part of the diversity as well, and being exposed to different opinions, disagreements. So that's very important. I would say the group work is very good and a great way for networking as well.
That we're having. That was a great synopsis of group work. We do pride ourselves on really trying to create very diverse groups, because that's where you are going to maximize your learning. So thanks, Eduardo. I have one last slide here. Before we get to that, I did want to launch this last poll. We've talked a lot about many networking opportunities today. Which of these sound like something that you might be able to use in your professional life? The iConnects, those immersion trips. One thing actually, now that I'm thinking, the immersion trips, those do, if you are in the iMBA program, this is one thing I forgot to mention, you can use one of those immersions to count towards one of those 2 capstone projects as well. I did forget to mention that. Student-led meetups is popular. I'm going to give everybody about 30 more seconds to fill out that poll so we can see which networking opportunity you're most interested in. While we're finishing that up, this slide does have our next deadline coming up on July 7th. So if you're looking to apply for any of the 3 iMBA programs, iDegree programs, the iMBA, the iMSM, and the iMSA, you can apply by July 7th. This is also the deadline for our graduate certificates, the Strategic Leadership and Management Certificate and the accounting graduate certificate as well. If you're looking to just apply to the iMBA and the iMSM, we do have one final deadline to start in October, and that would be on September 8th. So that is another option. And then if you're not quite ready, you can apply for spring 2023, and those applications will open up in mid-July. So I'm going to end that poll. Thank you for filling that out. It looks like most people are interested in the immersion. So those are super fun and not surprising there. So I'm going to stop my sharing right now. Allison, are there any big questions that you saw in the Q&A that did not get answered?
Yeah, if Eduardo would be willing to talk a little bit about how often you typically meet with your group members while you're working on a group project.
Yeah, that's actually a great question. So I would say 90% of the courses that you will be taking, they will have group assignments, and the course will take usually 8 weeks, right? It's a 8 weeks course. You will most likely need to meet your groups, I would say at least once a week or once every 2 weeks, depending on the course. In between the meetings that you're going to have with your groups, there will be a lot of interaction in Workplace, where you most likely will have a group for that assignment, and chat that is used through Workplace as well. So there will be a lot of interactions in between meetings, but I would say once a week or once every 2 weeks, depending on the course.
I saw a couple questions just to reiterate. The graduate college does have a maximum timeline to finish your degree of 5 years. We hope that you don't take that long, but if you do need a little extra time, you will have that. We give the timing guidelines that I had on each of those specific degree slides, as that's our hope. We hope that you take one course at least as a minimum each 8-week term. You can add in 2 courses, and those were the timelines for that. But if you need a little extra time, we understand. Any others that did not get answered, Allison, before we wrap up?
Sure. Can you talk a little bit about what the timeline looks like when you submit an application?
Sure. So once you submit your application, we typically take 1 to 2 weeks to review all of your materials. At that time, we will email you either with a missing materials email, like perhaps you're missing part of your transcripts or a resume or something like that. So we'll send you that email. We may send you a decision right away, or all of our admitted students will complete a 20-minute Zoom interview. So you might get an interview invitation. This is just going to be a pretty short and sweet 20-minute interview just with someone like myself or Allison. We're just going to get to know you a little bit, make sure we understand what your goals are and how one of the degree programs will help you reach those goals, and just make sure that this is a good fit for both parties. So don't get too stressed about the interview process. It's pretty low key. I promise. Allison and I are very nice. We'll take it easy on you, but nothing to get stressed over.
Looks like there's a question for Eduardo as well. How many hours per week did you spend on your iMBA work?
Very important question. So yes, I think somebody was asking as well if it's possible to do the program while having a full-time job and work. So yes, I have done it while working full-time. I actually shared this story during the program. I actually had 2 babies as well, so you know it was very tough, I would say, but it's completely doable. The time required, I would say, in between 20 to 30 hours per week. That's if you really want to, learn, this is what I would suggest you spend. You will need to spend. This is considering that you're going to be doing the program within 2 years, right? So that was my experience. If you would like to take it a bit slower and do it in 3 years, for example, then of course that the number of hours per week. I would say around 15 or sometimes less than that per week.
Can you talk a little bit about how big the class sizes are typically, like in your live classes? I know every class is going to be different, but what has your experience been?
Yeah, that's excellent question. And I remember I had exactly the same question in my mind when I was applying for the program. And this was initially a concern that I had, and I will explain why it ended up not being. So the live sessions, which are, you should attend once a week for each course that you're taking, they will have, I would say, between 150 to 250 attendees, right, or students. Some classes they will have less because maybe it's early in the morning for the US, and this is to allow participants, let's say in Asia, to join. So it varies, but I would say you're likely to see 150 students in a live session. Now, quick comment. You may think, oh, that's a lot of people for a live session, and how can that be engaging enough, and how can you allow students to participate? So the live sessions are an opportunity, obviously, for the professor to develop a bit further on the topics that you will have reviewed in Coursera. And there will always be opportunities for you to participate. There are Q&As moments. The professors are always inviting the students to participate. And pretty much all live sessions will have breakout rooms. So breakout rooms are also moments where you and another 3 students will be able to, go deeper in what the professor is covering in the live session and really engage with other students, which is also another opportunity to network. But it's a moment where you feel like you're in a live session and not just in a recording, right? So that was positively. I was positively surprised by the way the live sessions are designed, because it allows a lot of engagement.
Great feedback. Any others? I think we're going to wrap up here. We have just a couple more minutes. Allison, are we good there?
Yeah, but looks like we've answered the questions that were all asked.
Excellent. I'm going to share this screen one more time. This is our QR code that we talked about earlier. If you'd like myself or Allison or one of our admission counselors to reach back out to you to maybe answer some more questions or just have a conversation, we would love to connect with you. It was a pleasure being here today. Thanks, Eduardo. I know you've been super busy lately, and it sounds like you have another kind of career jump coming, so congratulations on that. And Eduardo actually is also getting ready to graduate, walked through, but finishing up his last classes, so congratulations there. I really appreciate you taking the time to be here today and sharing your experience with us. My email is ked@illinois.edu if you'd like to reach out to me directly. And thank you, Allison, for doing such a great job in the Q&A today. And reach out to us if you have any questions. There's also our general Gies Online email address on the screen as well. So I hope everyone has a great rest of your week, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, everyone, and I hope to see you soon in one of the courses. Bye-bye.
Bye.